Calling all my sweeties to the forefront. I'm your host, Renee Hayslett, and this is the Keep It Positive Sweetie Show. This video is sponsored by BetterHelp. Let's be real, life can get overwhelming. Between work, relationships, and just trying to keep everything together, sometimes we forget to take care of ourselves. And let's be honest, finding a therapist can feel like another task on the to-do list. I remember when I was looking for a therapist, I needed a great deal of support to research therapists in my area who were right for me. I wish I had this resource back then. That's where BetterHelp comes in. BetterHelp is an online therapy platform that connects you with a licensed therapist from the comfort of your own home. No waiting rooms, no long drives, just professional support when you need it. With BetterHelp, you can message your therapist anytime and schedule video or phone sessions that fit into your schedule. Plus, BetterHelp allows you the flexibility to try out multiple therapists until you find the one that's suitable for you, free of charge. Taking care of your mental health shouldn't be complicated. Get started today and find the support you deserve. Visit betterhelp.com/Crystal Renee for 10% off your first month. Because you deserve to feel your best. Mind, body, and soul. Welcome to another episode of the Keep It Positive Sweetie Show, the place where we bring real conversation and a whole lot of heart and positivity. I'm your host, Crystal Renee Hayslett, and today we have my girl, both on and off the camera, joining the show. She's a dynamic actress, entrepreneur, and trailblazer in the plus-size fashion world. Best known for her roles as Angela in Tyler Perry's Atima and Sisters. She has also starred in BET's Curves and Pretty for a Big Girl. After giving what it needed to give, her career-defining scene in All the Queen's Men further cemented her rising star status. Please welcome my friend, my sister, Nzinga Imani. Zing, zing!
Hey!
We got you on the sofa.
Yes,
girl,
I'm so
the people have been
excited.
asking for you.
Oh, well, thank y'all.
They have been, we need Nzinga.
Yes.
And I heard you guys, so we got her on. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I
This is
appreciate
fun.
it.
I'm excited.
Me too, because they get to see us on TV, but the show hasn't really delved into our story yet and like how we became friends and our backstory and everything. But I love you, and I wanted to bring you on so we can share more of your story, so I can get to know you a little better, and the audience can get to know you better.
I appreciate it. It's been so beautiful to watch this. Season 7? You've been doing your big one. So,
thank you.
I very much am inspired by all that you do.
Oh,
so
thank you.
It's great to be here.
Same. You are so talented, beautiful as ever. I remember when we were casting for Zatima, and you were already on All the Queen's Men.
Yeah.
We were trying to figure out who Fatima's best friend was going to be, and Tyler was like, I have the perfect person. And I was like, who? And he goes, Nzinga Imani. And at that point, I didn't know who you were personally, and I was like, who? Because I was like, let me see her Instagram. And I was like, oh, I do know her from Instagram. I was very familiar with you from Instagram, but had never met you personally. And I was so happy when we got to work together, and you were just a delight. Because you just never know, you just never know what you're going to get with actors. You know, you got all different types of personalities and different methods that people use to get into character. And as a castmate, those are things you have to adapt to. So I was really happy when you were super cool and easygoing. Y'all, our rooms are probably like 2 or 3 rooms apart on Actors Row, and I'll yell down the hall, zing, zing! You want to run it?
Oh yeah, and I'm always going to want to run it. Let's run it. That's
Listen, if we don't do nothing else, we're going to get these lines
Absolutely.
down. And it's so much, and it's just been a beautiful journey.
For sure.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Yes.
I got to say, y'all may not know this, but the way that her and DeVal lead us as a cast, it's like no other. They take the reins and really make sure that we're already prepared. And it has been like a crash course in just like how to prepare. It's amazing. So I appreciate y'all a lot.
Of course. Speaking of crash course and this whole new TPS world for you, but you've been acting and doing your thing. How was that adjustment, like coming into our world and be like, oof, this how y'all doing things over here?
I'd heard like stories and things of like how quickly we work and things like that, but it's nothing like being on it. But because I had that brief experience on All the Queen's Men, I had an idea, but we were in the bubble during the time we filmed that. So it was like summer camp. There was nothing like being on TPS set. I loved it. Like I couldn't wait to go back. So to get that call and then to have been working for 10 plus years in this industry and having the hardest time breaking into TV, because I'm theater, music, all of that, but having the hardest time time breaking into the industry, and then from one scene on All the Queen's Men being, you know, being able to audition for a series regular on Zatima was like,
oh wow.
You
and
know?
then it goes from Zatima to Sisters.
Yes.
How was that? Like, it's just like boom, boom, boom.
That when it rains, it pours, and it's like I was so grateful for the preparation that I had leading up to that.
Yeah.
Because it happens just like that. You know, you're waiting, and you're waiting for an opportunity, and then when it happens, all these other doors open. So I'm so grateful.
Yes, I want to talk about that that waiting season, because so many times when we do, like when it happens, that's all the people see. They're just like, where did she come from? This happened overnight, and no, it did not. Let's dive into that, because a lot of people, I think people are inspired by the waiting season to know that they're not alone.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I did everything. I just wanted to be in the room, and then I've always been an artist, whether that's painting, whether that's singing, whether that's acting. So I've always just been in the arts. So I guess it all kind of started, I was in school for theater. That was my major, and part of our extracurriculars were stage makeup. I've always been a painter, so I was naturally really good at stage makeup, and my professors were like, girl, you need to do that. My younger sister is a professional model, and she was like, them makeup artists get paid. And as a struggling artist, I needed to find a way to have a flexible schedule and, you know, do what I love and be on the sets and everything. So it started there. While I was doing makeup, actually I did Danielle's headshot for Zatima, so very full circle. Like I run into so many people working now where it's like, you did my makeup for headshots and stuff like that. So it's beautiful to see the relationships and how they grow, how people keep me in mind for different opportunities. But from that to, I mean, I was a preschool teacher. I was doing anything you can think of. From
a preschool teacher.
Oh yeah, I love the kids.
Zing love the kids.
I love the kids. Miss Z, that's the teacher you want. The parents were fighting to get their kids in my class. Really? Like honestly, because I you know, especially 3-year-olds. I was a preschool teacher, so I mean, I had them kids singing songs. Like we were singing Annie in the playgrounds and stuff. We had the greatest time. But unfortunately, teaching does not pay the bills like it should. I mean, I was living with my mom at the time that I was a full-time teacher and struggling still. So I knew I had to do something else. Not to mention the parents and even like the grandparents would be like, girl, what you doing here? You supposed to be doing something else. This
ain't your college.
They were like, you're great at this, but
there's something greater on your life.
And I was grateful for that, because sometimes we get complacent, especially when we're enjoying something. But I did a little extra work on Black Panther during the time that I was teaching. After I got back, I knew, I like put in my resignation. I was like, I have to pursue this fully.
What year was that?
Don't get me lying. 2000. Around 2015, somewhere in that.
That's crazy. That was the year my life shifted.
Beautiful.
I went from costuming to being Tyler's stylist and costume designing.
Yes.
That was a shifting year for me. And I think I turned 33 that year, so there's my Jesus year. There's a lot of things happening that year. That's amazing. So 2015 was the year that you were like, this is what I'm going after.
Yeah.
I love that. And then from that moment to 2020.
Ooh, I mean, so much. I was doing a lot of indie films. I was trying to get my foot in the door however I could. You know, the parodies, if you guys don't know, I do a lot of musical parodies with Queen of the Ratchet. I mean, I was super thankful for that, because it was just create, don't wait. You know what I mean?
And ooh, that's good.
And if create, don't wait. That's good. Because if I was waiting for someone else to give me the opportunity and not putting that content out there, then when Tyler told you Nzinga Imani, you would have been like, who is that? Right. What do I see? I was able to build up a audience and engagement from just putting out my own content to the point where I was recognizable. Yeah. And people were like, I don't know if she can do TV, but it's like, well, if she can do this and this and this, she can definitely do it. Yeah. Give her a chance.
Isn't that the power of social media?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you can literally, like even YouTube, like the world is your oyster. You can do anything. If you have a camera and a tripod, or a few friends that are willing to work with you.
A phone, honestly. If you have a phone, some time, and the confidence to put it up and let people see it, you never know what kind of doors it'll open.
Yeah, I love that. Was there any point, because you talked about you got all the no's, was there any point in your journey where you may have had like doubt or like, did I really choose the right thing, or where you had any like self-image issues where you were like, dang, because I know for me this industry is so vain, and there's times where there's times I didn't feel my best self. Did you ever have moments like that?
In ways, especially being plus size, I feel like you're oftentimes pigeonholed. Like, you know, there's so many situations where people are just like, I don't know if she'll fit for the lead, or I don't know if she would be a like a love interest that people would believe. But it's like,
what?
Why not? Why would, you know, like people love me in real life, so why couldn't people love me online or in the movie? So I definitely felt held back, felt like there were a lot of perceived notions about what kind of parts I could play and things like that. But doing the Queen of the Ratchet and developing my plus size modeling career and all of those things that I did outside definitely, I think, opened up people's minds.
Absolutely.
Not to mention that scene in All the Queen's Men, which opened up a lot
Let's
of...
talk about that scene in All the Queen's Men.
Which opened up a lot of ideas too. Yeah.
I was like... What did your mama say about this?
You know, I avoided my mom for like a week. I didn't answer. I didn't pick up calls, and I tried to warn her because she got real happy. Started telling people I was gonna be on TV. I said, "No, wait a minute. Yeah, my grandma saw that. I didn't nobody tell you to tell grandma, but
oh my gosh,
what happened happened." Yeah. And honestly, surprisingly, her reaction was a lot more supportive than I thought it would be.
Isn't it amazing?
Yeah.
My parents are the same way when it comes to my roles and the things I do. Think about it. The team of season 1. It was
that the
very
shower
graphic
one?
scene. No, that was like across the bed, head hanging off, and
Oh, that yes, yeah, I remember that one.
I couldn't even look at that. Yeah, like it cut. It went from like it was such a quick cut. It was like bam. I was like Ooh, like, I was like, I said, Dad, just don't watch the first like 5 minutes of the show.
But they gotta watch.
Yeah, no, I don't want to ask you.
Well, my sister still won't watch, so I get it. She's like, I can't even see you like that. I turn it off. But I mean, she was kind of just like, well, it was shot very well.
This is your mom?
Yes. She didn't want to give me too many praises about it. I mean, especially because it wasn't a romantic scene, but it felt romantic. So I was super grateful to that because, I mean, the situation is not romantic. They're not a couple, you know.
Even just to shoot the situation like in real life, like as you're filming it, in a room around strangers, it's not romantic. You know what I'm saying?
It's not at all. It's not at all. We had all the extras by the pool.
Oh my God.
I was like, what happened to the clothes set?
Right. Clothes set.
Right. And it was freezing. What y'all don't know, that was shot in December, and we were outside of Tandy's house in the little gondola or whatever. It was freezing.
Even when we filmed season 1 of Zatima, remember it was like December, it was freezing cold. Oh my God, I think I got sick right after that.
Although I prefer, that was when you hit Cam they were in the jacuzzi freezing.
Barefoot. Like he was in him and Jazzy were in the jacuzzi freezing. I had to keep running out from upstairs, down the deck, barefoot in that wet, rainy, cold grass. 2 days later, I was like.
But I gotta say, I prefer that over when we have to shoot in the heat, because we done melted on camera before.
Baby, I was like, y'all had me some extra draws, some extra Spanx. Everything.
That once the hair is gone, it's really like, what are we doing?
It's just like hot, and then you got to turn the air conditioner off because of the sound, or like turn everything off. So we're just in there baking.
Yeah, so I prefer the cold.
What we deal with, we deal with so much, and we make it look good.
Yeah,
though.
we do. We stay in it, even when we're melting and the makeup is dripping down our mouths, because that was in the parking lot. That y'all seen that scene in the parking lot? Yes, my hair went from this to dripping. I said, okay.
That was so bad. Don't let us be shooting for winter. In the middle of summer, it's like, oh my gosh.
Then you got on all the clothes, plus it's hot outside.
Hot outside, yeah. Those garage scenes during the summertime, it's just smoldering hot. I get hot fast.
Yeah.
So I'll be like, Under
all that hair we be wearing,
my gosh, it'd be too much.
Neck melted.
Too much. Looking back, we're on season 3. Season 3 just wrapped of Zatima. Looking back, what was one of your like favorite moments filming?
Ooh. I wish that I had like, well, that's not season 3. Let me roll back.
Okay, right.
let me roll back.
I had to catch myself. I'm like, wait, has that aired yet?
Right. No, that hasn't aired yet. I would probably still say the season 1 when the whole thing happens where Zach and Danielle's character meet, and we were all kind of there together.
When we all, yes. Oh my goodness.
That was intense.
That was very
and it was fun, and I feel like that was the first time we were all, because everything happened so fast. It was the first time we really were all in a scene together acting, and so that just stays in the front of my mind. What about you? What's your favorite?
For me, somebody just asked me this, and for me, it is every day that we go to work. Like I love our cast.
Amen.
Everybody is just so amazing to work with. Everybody's so grateful to be there. We all come, we work our butts off, and we work so hard, and we create beautiful magic together. And I think everybody doesn't get that opportunity to say that, like, I love everybody I work with, you know, because not all environments are as peaceful as ours. Like, we come in there and we're like, all right, it's been, we 2 days in, we probably got hit by a bus. We respect each other's space and time, and we're like, what do you need? You good? Do you feel like running lines? Are you good? You know what I'm saying? And we just get it, you know. And
even after set, going and running lines together after a 16-hour day shoot, people don't see it.
They don't see that. After we had to rip the wig, and we and our just our little
our braid backs,
our Meek Mills, and we're like, all right, let's run these lines before we go home. During lunch, when we got a little time off, okay, like, let's run it real quick. It's so much that goes into everything that we do. If you could give anybody advice on something, there's a young girl wanting to do what we do, and she's not quite sure of herself, or she's struggling. Maybe she's from a small town like I was, or she's from a place where her parents don't really accept it. Like, you don't need to go to get an education, go get you a good job, but she's a dreamer. What would you tell her?
Girl, do it anyway. You're not living for them, you're living for you. And if you want anyone else to believe it, you have to believe it first.
Come on.
Like, I can't tell you, even though my mom supported me doing plays and doing all these things, I think in the back of her mind, especially because I was super good in school. Like, I was in all the higher education classes, everything like that. You know, really, she expected me to be working for NASA or something like that. So for me to take this other this other path was some shock and some awe, because she, you know, she's Caribbean background. You know, we believe in that stability. That whole art thing, she was like, that's good to keep you well-rounded, but you need something serious. So my mom actually found out that I changed my major at a play. I remember she came up to me. I did the big finale number. Everybody's coming up to me, congratulating me. She's walking up to me with the brochure like, what is this? Like, what do you mean?
Sister Act.
Right. She's like, what do you mean? This is your major, ma'am.
We're not doing
She's
that.
like, a major in fine arts and theater, girl, be for real. So, so I didn't have support when it came to pursuing it fully, but at the same time, she was the one who had me in those plays, who had me in the choir, who made sure that I touched into my art side. So I really feel like, you know, she was giving me nudges, but she was still scared. And I'm glad that I didn't have that fear. And that's why I feel like that's the most important thing. You have to believe it first. You have to give it your all, because it won't happen if you're halfway doing it.
That's right.
You have to believe in it. You have to pursue it. You have to take the sacrifice, because there was a time when I dropped that school and was pursuing acting and doing theater and makeup and everything, where I was struggling real bad.
Let's talk about the struggle.
Real bad.
Lord.
But Ubering, sleeping in my car.
You Ubered? Like, you was an Uber driver?
Ubered, yes. Until I was about to fall asleep. I was terrified. And don't recommend, because there were a few times that something could have definitely happened. There were a few times that I had to speed off in situations.
Oh my goodness.
I do not recommend. However, at the time, it was necessary. And like, literally, I'd be driving home too sleepy to make it. I'll pull up into a Walmart or a McDonald's, something that's open 24 hours,
Nzinga.
and try to nap. But that was the grind. I mean, and you know, in retrospect, I thank the Lord every day, because things could have ended much differently. But it was necessary for me to maintain while I pursued what I was pursuing. So still grateful. You know, it definitely keeps me humble. It keeps me
absolutely.
Yeah, because I'm like, you know, at any moment, if anything didn't pan out, if any opportunity didn't present, I might not be where I am today. Then I might not feel the same way about that struggle, but gratefully, I can feel great about the struggle, because it led to where I am now. So
I love
that.
I love that. For me, I went through a similar phase of my life where I was like really struggling, trying to figure it out. I just moved to Atlanta, and it was like, all right, I got to figure it out. You know, I was working a job. First job I had, I was literally making like I think it was like $300 a week. So it was like
Yeah.
$1,200 a month before taxes. Like, it was not a lot of money.
Yeah.
So like talking about like scrounging for change in the cup holder. Remember back in the day, all the change went into the cup holder. I don't
Yes.
really see change much nowadays.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because people don't really carry cash. But like,
Cards, everything on our phones and everything.
yeah, like so, like it was change everywhere. So I was literally trying to count the quarters and like, can I get a double cheeseburger?
Oh, yeah.
With fries. You know what I'm saying? The dollar menu, just trying to make a meal literally out of 2 cents.
Absolutely.
And I remember those moments, and I think that's something that always keeps me grounded now that I have made it. But I'm grateful for those moments where you have to struggle and grind, because I feel like if you don't go through that, you're not going to appreciate it when you make it. Yeah. You're not going to appreciate it.
Even speaking of like that long time struggle, if I had gotten the opportunities any earlier, I might not have known how to manage it.
Oh, absolutely not.
I think about the relationships I was in, the mind for financing, and the things that I would have been splurging money on then versus, you know, even just a year later. And I'm so grateful it happened when it did.
Yeah.
Who knows what could have happened, or who
Absolutely.
I would have not been able to see for who they are because I have this new level of success, and they're, you know, so it's a lot of things that saved me from having that long 10-year wait.
Come on, God knows. Like, it's all in His perfect timing. That's what I always say, because if things had happened before they were supposed to, we would have blew it.
Yeah.
We really would have. Nzinga, you are one of the most stunning. Your whole family is just stunning, first of all. Like,
Thank you.
please go to her Instagram, her whole family, like all of them. I know your mom just sit back and be like, I did that.
She will take all the credit. She will.
But you guys are all so beautiful. But you're beautiful, you're confident.
Thank you.
When it comes to love life, let's talk about it.
Ooh, okay, girl.
Yes. Have you always been confident and known your worth? Because you walk in like with so much confidence and self-worth, or is that something that you struggle with at points, or have you always been like, I know I'm that girl?
It's hard to say because I feel like it's both. Like, I've never doubted that I'm that girl, but things show up, you know, like, you know, my father wasn't around when we were growing up. And so, you know, there's abandonment issues on that side.
Wow.
There's trust issues when it comes to men. You know, my mom didn't really date when we were growing up. She, for different reasons, but mainly because she had 3 young girls and she wanted to keep us safe and protected. So, you know, there's reactions that I have to that as well, where, you know, I may not want to be alone, so I may stick it out with somebody longer than I should, even when I see the signs and things like that. So it's definitely up and down. I think just in dating and living and growing, you learn things. I mean, when I got Zatima, I was in a relationship with someone who I had, you know, sacrificed so much for, and really felt like they were going to be rooting for me, and that showed me that they were not, and that they were a bit jealous of me, and that, you know, and it manifested in different ways, and it let me know I had to get up out of there. I remember after we finished wrapping the dinner that you and DeVal hosted, I came to that late, and I was flustered because we had just got into it, and I felt like I wasn't in my best moment, but I was pushing through. There were so many things, but so many great moments of my life were being kind of like watered down because this person and their energy or how they felt or their insecurities were attacking me. But I also was like, well, this person has been with me, I should stick it out.
Trying to be loyal.
Don't, girl, save yourself. You know,
goodness.
if I could go back and talk to her, it would be like, girl, save yourself, because there was a lot of, you know, just self-reflection that had to happen after, especially just being alone, stepping out of it, where it's like, man, how long did that person hate me? Low-key.
Right, because you start to look back and you're like, wait a minute now.
Like, man, that thing that they said 2 years prior that didn't really register, but then when you look at the whole thing, it's like, oh, wow. Nah, it's been a while of just not realizing it. And in the moment, I didn't think of it as like a lacking or, you know, what was going on with me, why I would choose someone like this. But then when you look back at it again, it's like, well, what did you let slide? What things did you let, you know, happen that you didn't address or that you didn't stand firm in that allowed that to happen? So I'm still figuring it out. You know, I feel like it's ever growing.
It is.
You know, not to mention those family wounds, you know, even I love my mother dearly, but there was a lot of trauma that happened within our relationship as well that made me.
Mother wounds are real.
Very real. And I'm a middle child, so if y'all know about, really? I didn't know that. So if you know anything about the middle children, I feel like I was so independent that I was left alone a lot. I was just kind of like, it was like fend for yourself. And then I'm like, but that's not how you treat this child or that child. So it makes you question yourself in that regard too.
Yeah, wow.
So it was a lot of self-discovery that is still happening. I'm still figuring out why I do things, why I say things. I could be very snappy, especially in romantic relationships.
Snappy?
I know. I learned that recently, and I'm grateful for it. Although it was just kind of like, oh, okay, maybe when I say something and I mean it as a joke, not everyone perceives it that way.
That's
so be
true.
more careful.
That's real.
So learning myself in these different seasons has been big, but I'm grateful for it for sure.
At what moment did you realize, wait a minute, like I have these issues from my childhood that are pouring into my adulthood, and was there a moment where you're like, I need therapy? Are you into therapy? Or has it just been more of like I got this on my own type of thing, and just constantly evolving?
In full transparency, I wasn't even planning on going on here, but
she said, oh.
But it reminded me of the first time that I really thought about therapy. I was auditioning for a dating show of some sort. And during the process, I was getting through like easy, they were loving me. Then we had to do kind of sit down with a therapist before we moved on to the next round. And I unloaded on her.
Wow. That's when you realized you've been holding a lot in.
Yes, and also the fact that they did not call me back to this show after.
They're like, you need to work on yourself.
Yeah, they were like, maybe not, because this could be a liability. This was years ago, but I think that was the first time that I was like, this is something that I need to look into, and also just realize like there are things that I need to reflect on within myself. In all transparency, I have not done therapy, but I would like to. I think it's just kind of like figuring out who to trust, who to talk to, how to approach that, which is not an excuse, because I feel like I've figured out so much improvement on myself in other ways where I'm just putting that to the back burner. Not to mention my family is not super supportive with that. Like, speaking of my mom, she'd be like, you're not crazy. What do you mean you need to go to therapy? That's how she thinks. And it's like, I know that that's not a legitimate reason, but I do think that those things are still in the back of my head. So. Yeah, I need to work on that. And I want to look into that for sure.
I got you. No, seriously. Remember my first live show, I brought my therapist out. Absolutely love her. But it wasn't until, like you said, find the right person, finding somebody you can trust. For me, it was the first time I did therapy, I wasn't honest with the person because I didn't really trust them. So I'm like, this ain't working. Like, I literally was like, this isn't working. And then I got Delana, and I was like, just be honest. If you want this work, you have to just tell her everything and trust that and pray that she's not going to tell anybody your business. But I feel like it's like dating. You know what I'm saying? You gotta like talk to them, feel the vibes, see if you're ready to open up to them. But it's not like you hire one person and you gotta stick with them. You know. So I would just like take your time and just feel people out and see who you like and who you mesh with, because it can, like, this is the person that you really have to confide in everything with if you really want to get the help you want. And for me, it's like that self-realization, because we thinking we're working on ourselves until you really start to unload, like you said, and you're like, oh, I got a lot of work to do.
It's like, oh.
Yes.
Because I told her about some situations that, I wasn't proud of, but I also felt like I was justified in,
Yeah, she's probably like, no.
Ran into that knife 10 times. No, it wasn't that extreme. But it was kind of like, I was battling within myself, and relationships will bring that out of you, especially when people are not genuine on their side, or they're doing their own thing, and then they want you to be, Anyway, I'm gonna move on past that.
Okay, listen. So since you've gained success in acting, I know that something that can be challenging for us women is dating and finding a man that is confident in what you do, and knowing that you may have sex scenes or love scenes with another person and that you have to kiss them. Have you had issues since you've started acting where a guy's like, I ain't with that? And you're like, but
absolutely.
Really? What is that? Oh, me too, girl.
And it's difficult, but it also like, this is what I do, and that's a hard conversation to have, especially when you like, if we're already in a relationship, we're already talking, we're serious. It's like, how are you all of a sudden upset with this? Like, you didn't already see all the Queen's Men. That actually really happened.
Really?
me and my guy had been together for a while, like over a year, and then his mom kind of brought the episode to him. And I think that's why it shifted, because
his mama said, because he probably didn't really care, but when the mom said something.
I think he cared, especially because there have been different times when we're at comedy shows, and I don't know why, but every comedian has seen that scene, because they always stop the show.
They're like, you the girl.
They be like, I know you, and then they typically harp on it for quite some time.
And
where it's
like sinking in your chair. Like,
yeah, and I can laugh it off because I'm in this industry and I'm used to it, and I'm like, okay, listen. But with him sitting there next to me, it's kind of like, y'all, you still talking about?
You're sexualizing me in front of my man. Yeah.
And what is he supposed to do? Because it's like, I'm an actress. He supports that. He's always been super supportive of that. But at the same time, it's like, how am I supposed to feel sitting here? Yeah. And I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do sitting here? I don't know either. So that can be difficult. But yeah, when his mom brought it to him, I think it just hit him that like anyone has access to this. My mom has seen it. That means my cousins have seen it. That can mean anyone can see it. And I can understand how that can hit him. But it's also like, this is what I do. So let me know now what it's gonna be. We done put this much time into it. Let me know if we should put any more, because those opportunities are gonna continue to happen, and I don't intend on saying no if it's relevant to the scene. Right. You know, I might not go as graphic as that was. But once again, that was also my first time being on TV, so I was open. I was like, let's go.
Do you feel like you're as open now, or do you, because me, I have like very firm boundaries on what I'll show, what I'll do. Are you still like, because some actors are like, no, I'm not gonna say no to anything, I'm good.
Oh, well, I'll say no to things,
what would you say no to?
I mean, if that same situation presented, I don't know if I would necessarily do it now. But but still close to it, especially if it's relevant to a love scene or a love interest or something like that. But we were just one off and tag teaming over there, so
that was crazy.
It was different. But once again, it was shot beautifully, so I'm not mad at it. But I don't know. I just feel like it's situational, but I do still want to be respectful. I know at that time I hadn't done anything, so I was kind of open. Not to mention it was in the midst of the pandemic. Okay. And it was the biggest I had ever been. Like size-wise, I was the biggest I had ever been.
Me too. Oh my gosh, I couldn't fit nothing.
But it was so liberating for it to be like, here I am in my full splendor, like, because this is what it is. There is no, like, we have sex, we have, plus size people are intimate and things like that, so to be able to show that and see that and feel confident with the end result was a big thing. So I'm happy, very happy with that scene, but moving forward, I do want to draw boundaries. I am mindful that I want to have children, I want to be married, and I don't want anyone to be able to hop on Twitter and find these scenes. Right.
Did your mama?
And be like, So I'm still figuring it out. Yeah. Especially if the opportunity like seems worth it, or like this is relevant to the story enough. So, yeah. I feel you.
Yeah. I feel you. No, totally. I understand it, because that's something. I actually had an audition for. It was really bad. It was a rape scene, but it was a true story. So in my mind as an artist, I'm like, okay, like. They weren't shooting the actual rape, it was more so the aftermath of it, but like everybody knew what had happened. And I was like second up for that part. I didn't end up getting the role, but when I auditioned for it, I had to call my dad, and I was like, listen, how do you feel about this? Because I was thinking about my parents and like what they have to go through if, say if I play certain roles or do certain things. And he was like, you're acting. He was like, that was a true story, it happens, and you're shedding light on something that happened. So it changed my perspective on certain things, but then also when it came to like me setting my own personal boundaries, because thinking if I have children one day, what are they gonna see? Like, and this internet is like, it's forever. Once it's out there, and it just like goes from one place to the next, and like before you know it, like it's everywhere. Yeah.
And so out of context, it can be very scary.
Ma'am.
Yeah.
Very, very scary. Yeah. This is a safe space, and we also love Jesus over here at the Keep It Positive City Show. Has there been moments where your faith has been stretched, or moments where you really had to lean on your faith through this whole journey of life?
Absolutely. Well, growing up, I was heavy in church. I'm talking like praise team leader, all types. I was I was in church 5 out of the 7 days a week, like, and super happy to be there. Yeah. The thing that kind of shook me was like, I was preparing to go to London for study abroad, and I was working my butt off to raise the money for that. And it was about a few days past the, and not past, but until the final payment was due. Yeah. I was only like $200 away from my goal. And I was at church, and the pastor did a whole sermon about, you know, you ask not because you have not because you ask not, and, you know, leaning on one another and all of these things. And I've been going to that church since I was baptized there. I was been there forever. And
been serving there too.
Like, and you know, whole family, my sister's in dance, but you know, everybody's really deep into the church. So I'm like, okay, this is my sign. So after I asked to have a meeting with the pastor, and we go into the room, and I kind of tell her what's going on, and she's like, I'm going on vacation, so I don't know what to tell you.
After she just preached that?
Yes. I felt like someone shot me in the heart. I remember sitting in the parking lot in the car crying. Like, I could not breathe. I was hyperventilating. Not only because I had worked so hard to raise all of this money, but because it was like the veil was pulled back from who she was. Yeah. This is someone I admired my entire life. And then this is how you act, this is how you, like, even if you couldn't do it, that's fine. But the way that she said it was just like, who are you? And it made me question everything. It made me step away from that church. And it took a while to start going back to church again. And then when I did, I was dating one of the pastors at the church. And he brought me.
The pastor?
Yes, honey. They were calling me First Lady Nzinga from day one.
It's giving First Lady. First Lady Nzinga.
I'm sorry, he was a preacher at the church, not the pastor. I should specify that. I learned after a few years into this, not a few years, a few months in this relationship, that he was having relations with people all up and through this church. Yeah.
That happens.
Past, present, and future. So that was another hit that just was like, you are not who you say. So and not only that, but he prayed on me because he sought me after at a low time. The way he used the word and everything to manipulate me into that relationship, it was very calculated. Of course, in retrospect.
Right, we see it after.
Yeah. So that was another time where, but I had to just be like, once again, somebody who acts so holy is the opposite, and is like the worst kind of person that can be, and that really hit me as well. And I think to this day I'm still struggling when it comes to church and the people to trust in church, because I mean I still love the Lord, but even now I was on a I don't want to say a tour, but I was trying out different churches not too long ago. I went to change, and I loved it there. It was just a long drive.
It is long, But that's what he said. You come here, you want it to be here.
Yeah, no, for sure.
It's a trick. Yeah.
But even that became awkward because, you know, our fan base is churchgoers. So going to church and knowing that in the midst of my praise and worship that this person might be filming me, or you know, I went to a funeral and someone was asking to take pictures with me and things like that, and it's like it shifts the way. I want to be able to be vulnerable. I want to be able to drop to my knees and cry when I feel like it. But to know that someone is constantly watching you, it's like, how can you enjoy that experience? So
that happened to me too. Yeah. And like I actually had to talk about it because people were coming up to me after church, like wanting to hug and like talk and ask for pictures. And I just feel like it's a time and a place for everything. And then finding out that people were driving hours to come to church on Sunday in hopes to meet me. Yeah. You need to be coming to meet Jesus. Yeah. Not Crystal Renee Hayslett. And I had to like publicly speak about that because it is disturbing when you're in, I literally was in full on tears one Sunday. Church had like let out, but we were still doing praise and worship. And the spirit was just moving and I was just crying and praising God. And somebody literally came and tapped me on the shoulder. In the midst of that. And I was like, what? Yeah. Like what? Like in what world, you know? And then not too long ago, praise and worship, and like a guy turns around and it was like, you know how they turn and then they were like, oh shoot. And then before you know it, they're like holding their phone up like we're at a concert. And I'm like, I literally just turned my back so like you can't film me. I'm like read the room. Facts. You know what I'm saying? Like
But people feel like you don't have those boundaries when you're known, and that's something that really disturbs me, because I hear how people talk about, oh, well, they were rude when I met them. Well, how did you meet them? What were they doing? Because they don't owe you their time like that. Like, you know, I appreciate the support. I appreciate, but there's a time and a place, and there's certain times there's absolutely no. I was at a close friend's funeral, and you want to take pictures. Why? Why is that even where your mind is at when you're at the same funeral?
We should be thinking about this person that we just lost.
So a lot of different, but once again, that's church. That's not
that's just
religion.
one part of it.
So
exactly.
I definitely feel like that was a major part for me, though, especially the way that I was raised. It's a part that I miss dearly, and I hope to get back to. But you know, I stand firm in my faith still. I still, you know, pray as much as I can. I talked about this before, like praying in water is like my favorite thing. And I think that's also because I know that it's just me, especially if I'm at a beach or some kind of big body of water where I can just go in and I don't hear anything else but the waves. And I feel like God is speaking to me directly in that moment. So,
girl, that's one of my favorite places to be, around water. Because when you look, especially huge bodies of water, it just shows you like the awe of God, like, wow, he created this. You know, you just see like the endless, almost like it's symbolic to his endless love, because it's like water just, you can't, like, you don't even see the end of it. It's like, it just keeps going.
You see how small you are.
Yes,
in the
midst of all this. That is so true. Let's talk about sisterhood. Yes, because we're both on Zatima and Sisters. Sisterhood is so important to me. Our two characters, I am like always like, what you mean, Angela? Because you check me. You check me when I'm wrong. You try to hold me accountable.
Y'all heard that, right?
You try to hold me accountable, and a lot of times we don't want to hear that as friends. But I appreciate the way Tyler writes our characters, because Fatima does do that, because she's usually the one always trying to like help people, but you're the one that's always helping Fatima.
And then we do a good back and forth, because you tell me about myself too, whether I listen or not.
Right. But that's what friends are for. In your real life, because you have sisters, amazing sisters. How is y'all's relationship, and did that actually help when it came to being on the show Sisters?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, my sisters are the closest thing to me in general. We were raised super close. You know, it was us against the world. Except we fought a lot, but that's a part of the sisterhood. We had very humble beginnings. So like we shared a room growing up. The three of us.
What?
You know, from 4 years older to 2 years younger, we were all like really close quarters. So it forced us to be close and ride for each other. Like I remember one time a boy hit me, and my little sister came out of nowhere with a metal bat just swinging. Mind you, her little self, she's 2 years younger than me, but in those years, that's a huge difference. But we've always just had each other's back, and I feel like that's only grown as we've gotten older. My older sister has the cutest son now, my nephew, who is like, that's my baby. I
that's
adore him.
With my younger siblings, children, they're my babies.
And then you a godmama too, so I already know.
My babies,
So I mean, that experience too, it's just, those are my people. Those are my best friends in the world. They're the only people in the world that I feel like I can tell anything to without feeling judged. You know, I have my friends and everything, but my sisters, nothing is like that. Nothing. Nobody could come between that.
Yes, I love that. I have two sisters, but all my siblings, we have different moms, but and me and my sisters weren't raised together, but our relationship is so beautiful. And it's always fun to see how, like, no matter what the dynamic is, that's a bond you can never break. So yeah, love my sisters, and I love how Tyler wrote the show for us to just exemplify what sisterhood is. Yes.
Because you need your people in your corner.
We do. We really do. Before we get out of here, I want to play a game with you. I love playing games.
I feel like you're trying to hit me caught up. Let me get relaxed.
It's easy. It's just called This or That, all right?
I knew it.
Keep it light.
I knew it was going to be a This or That.
Yes. All right, let's see. And this is, a little, this is a little castmate edition.
Okay.
All right? So do you like movies or TV shows?
TV shows.
Scripted or reality?
Oh, scripted.
The hero or the villain?
The villain. The villain. Sorry.
Do you like improv or strictly following the script?
I love improv. That's when we get the best stuff.
Yeah, it is. We do a lot of that on the team.
Yes, we do.
You like night shoots or early morning call times?
Ooh,
I know.
it all depends on what the day has been, to be honest.
And the night before.
Yeah. I'm a morning person, so I don't mind mornings.
You are a morning person.
Yeah.
You really are.
I have a problem. But them late nights, especially if we've had a long day, it can get real. Yeah.
I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. On-set pranks or keeping it professional?
Do not prank me on set.
Listen, not under the stress we under. Do not prank.
We ain't got time.
We do not
Prank
have
for me
time
at the
that.
rap party. Don't prank me on
Right,
set. Yeah.
exactly. Method acting or just turn it on and off?
Ooh, it all depends on the part.
Same,
Yeah.
yeah.
It all I feel like I'm very like my character Angela in a lot of ways, so it's a little bit of method, but not all the way. So
Yeah.
it's a little off and on too.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, y'all. I guess it's both.
I think for me, like method, when I have like emotional scenes, it's hard for me to just turn it on and off.
Yeah.
But when it comes to other emotional character traits, I can turn those on and off. But that like crying and
Yeah.
stuff, I kind
Gotta
of have to
build it.
wake up down, like to really like be ready to, all right, and action. Like I
Yeah.
can't like wake up happy and then be like, okay, it's a crying scene and just start crying.
Yeah, you know that because I'd be like, okay, give me a second.
Yes.
Give me a second. I need to.
I need a minute. Yes.
But then it's hard because so much is going on. People talking and laughing. It's like, oh no.
Yes.
Oh, no.
And then everybody's like, so I'm like, yeah, I need everybody to like,
Don't talk to me.
yeah, don't, not right now, please stop talking. Like I gotta get there.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of time. Time is money. All right, let's see. We just basically just talked about this, but crying scene or a fight scene?
Once again, it depends on the context, but I will say I would love to do some fight scenes. I want to do some action.
Honey, I love the fight scenes because I don't be
Yeah.
fighting in real life.
That's where you get
But
it
I'll
out.
fight. I love it. Oh, I get
When
it
it's
all
coordinated,
out.
yeah.
Yes, I love it.
I'd be ready to jump off of something, land somewhere. Get that together.
Exactly. Live audience or no audience?
Live. There's nothing like the theater.
Yeah,
I live
that's
for that.
true. I love it. Costume heavy role or a casual wardrobe?
Oh, please don't make me have to wear too many things.
Right.
Yeah, I want to be comfortable.
Same.
It's hard to lock in when you're thinking about too much other stuff.
Yeah, no, for sure. Oh, this is another good one. Makeup chair for hours or quick and easy?
Baby, if I can do my makeup in 20 minutes, I don't want to be in this chair for 2 hours.
I was gonna ask you that too because you do your own makeup. Have you ever had a makeup artist and you guys and you was like, I do not like the way this looks?
Friend, I am so quick to go to my dressing room, wipe off my makeup, and start over. I'm so
Ma'am,
quick.
I literally carry my whole makeup bag every day because I
Every
don't know,
day.
like, and my makeup man, he's amazing.
Yes.
So like, I don't really have to touch anything. But like, I've had artists before where I'm just like, no, like, I need you to get this nose right. There's certain things I just need to pop.
I won't even do that. I'm like, oh, thank you, and I will go to my room.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go to the room and fix it.
Yeah. because if you didn't do it right the first time,
Yes.
then telling you and instructing you is not going to get us there when
No.
I could just finish it in 20 minutes or less. In the room.
Exactly.
Yeah, be prepared. Actors, be prepared. Bring your stuff. Be ready.
Be prepared. All right, last question. Binge watch your own show or never watch it?
Ooh, I hate to say this, but it's so hard for me to watch myself back.
So many people say that.
So hard.
Yeah.
I do because I feel like you have to learn, you have to grow, you have to
Yes.
see the way things are being done.
Yeah.
But I can only do it once. I cannot watch it over and over
No,
again
same,
like it.
yeah.
No.
For me, it's like watching tape like an athlete. Like I watch it so I can get better, like to get better and to study myself. I'm like, okay, I could have done better here. I could have taken a longer beat there,
Yep.
or I should have like did a different octave in my voice. Because sometimes I can
Yes.
talk very monotone, so I'm working on inflections
you.
and different things like that. But yeah, when I watch, I can only watch it once. I
Yeah.
can't go back. Yeah.
Same.
I agree. And Nzinga, this has been fun.
So much fun.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Jinx.
1, 2, 3. No, but they're gonna love this. They've been asking for you, and I thank you so much for taking time to come sit down.
Anytime, girl, you let me know. And if y'all want to keep asking, I'll keep coming.
Okay, I guess you heard it here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, love.
When I say I absolutely enjoyed my conversation with Nzinga, if I had to take one thing away, it was second chances. After being raised in the church and experiencing church hurt, she did not let that keep her away from cultivating her own relationship with God. here's a peek into my closet. All right, guys, getting into this look, I'm wearing a charcoal gray oversized blazer. It's elongated. I love, love, love this blazer. As you can tell, I'm in my blazer bag this season. The blazer is by Bardot. I'm wearing an oversized white button-up shirt by Banana Republic, and my boots are a snakeskin and metallic silver bootie by Paris, Texas. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Keep It Positive Sweetie Show. Today's episode doubled down on how confidence, perseverance, and consistency can take you places. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who could use some positive energy. You guys can follow me on all platforms at Love Crystal Renee, and you can follow the show at Keep It Positive Sweetie. If you want to write into our Positive Outcomes listener letter, you can send us an email to keepitpositivesweetie@gmail.com. Remember, no matter what life throws at you, stay focused, stay confident, and as always, keep it positive, sweeties. I'll see you guys next time.